Hey guys, and welcome to the part 2 of creating an Amazon Alexa Hello World skill. This is a Technology Today, Future Tomorrow video, and I'm Zayne Sprague. So, if you watched the first video, we got our AWS account set up, our Amazon Alexa developer account set up, and we downloaded a Sublime text editor. One of the things that I kind of wish that I had done in the first video that I'm going to do now is display this function on Alexa so you kind of see, you get more of a concrete feel for what this app is going to do. So without further ado, let's see what Alexa has to say. Alexa, ask Hello World to introduce us.
Hello world.
As you can see, it works as planned. There's also one other thing that I didn't mention in the first video that it can do, which is this. Alexa, Hello World.
Welcome to Hello World. Ask me to say hello.
Say hello.
Hello world.
So this is a really cool function that I'm going to go ahead and mute Alexa. This is a really cool function that Alexa has where you can not only call the name of the function and then give it a command and get like a one-liner response, you can almost have like a conversation with your function and have it reprompt you for a certain response. So like in this case I said, Alexa, hello world, which initiated the hello world function, and since I didn't give it a function, or I mean since I didn't give it any parameters, I programmed it to say, okay, hello, but please ask me to say hello again. Or I mean, obviously, if you had a better function or a more in-depth function, it could be something like, what's on the calendar for today, or what's the weather at your location. Tell me your location, etc. Anyway, so it's something cool, something concrete. Another thing that might have been weird in the first video is that I said that we're going to be programming in Node, but I didn't actually tell you guys how to install Node. That's because we actually aren't going to be compiling nor running the Node code on our local machine. It's actually all ran in the cloud through a service called Lambda. AWS hosts a really cool service that allows you to basically have a chunk of code up in the cloud that Alexa can connect to through a specific like a specific string, and then she can run that code, get some response back, and then you saw it work. But yeah, so today I'm going to start off by creating a basic Lambda function. We're going to download a blueprint of an Amazon Alexa skill. So we're not going to be creating this from scratch, just because it's easier. A lot of it's repetitive. We're going to strip some of the code out and replace it with our own code. And then, yeah, we're going to get it all to work. Again, if it seems a little daunting at first, don't worry. Go ahead and do what you see in the tutorial, and we'll get it all set up. And once we have the app running, the next video, which I'm saying is going to be episode 5 of the series, the last episode, we'll go line by line through each line of this Node program to kind of give you more of a welcoming feel to it that maybe doesn't make it so daunting, because it is a lot of code to be thrown at you, especially if you're not used to Node. So just bear with me, and let's get this first app rolling. So here we go. Okay, so here we are on the Amazon Web Services console. This is basically the home page for AWS. It shows you all of the services they have, and a whole bunch of other cool stuff. We're only really focused on Lambda, which is right here for me because I recently visited it, but it's also under compute, second from the bottom. If you can't find it for some reason, go ahead to this little search bar on the top and type in Lambda, Lambda, and then go ahead and click on it. You'll notice that I have functions here made. You won't, don't worry about that. Just go ahead and hit create a new Lambda function, and we'll be brought here where we can download templates of code for Lambda functions, but we're really only interested in one specific blueprint. We're going to go ahead and narrow this down by by selecting a runtime. As I mentioned before, we're running this in Node, but you can run this in, I guess, Edge Node, Python, and no, I guess that's it. And then I'm going to go ahead and filter this even further by typing in a keyword called Alexa. I am interested in Alexa Skills Color Expert. This blueprint specifically, I'm going to click this download button right here and talk about it. This blueprint specifically is nice because it doesn't have any third-party node modules running on it. It's very minimal. We can look at the code here and fully dissect what's happening with an Amazon Alexa request, so that it kind of gives you guys a better intuition. It's very easy to modify to a Hello World program, which I think is a really great way to learn through modification. Um, I take no credit for the code that's already been made. It's all done by AWS. We're simply using it and repurposing it for our own needs in this video. Um, anyway, so once you download it, go ahead and open the zipped file and open up the indocs.js. Now, I have .js files already associated with Sublime Text. Go ahead, and if you don't, go ahead and open this with Sublime Text. So I have all of this stuff already open, but I'm going to close it. Yes, close this. Okay. So this is what the blueprint will look like. Kind of daunting at first, but don't worry. As I've mentioned, I'm going to go over what we need to know in this video, and then in a later video, I'm going to go line by line and explain each part of this code so that you understand how Alexa really interfaces with Lambda. Okay, so let's start coding. First thing I want to do is I have this file associated with this project folder. For some reason, that's a personal project. I'm going to go ahead and move it somewhere that I will remember. So I'm going to hit File and Save As. I don't want this to be in my temp folder. I'm going to save it on a different drive under YouTube videos, and then I'm going to save it in like my personal projects file where I keep all of the code for this series. And then I'm going to name it Hello World Lambda Function.js. Feel free to name it whatever you want. I already have a file named that, so I'm going to go ahead and replace it. Okay, I'm also going to get rid of that, or at least minimize it so you're not distracted. Okie dokie, so let's start looking at this code. This is not important as of yet. It's basically how we return a response to Alexa so that she knows how to speak to us. What we want to look at first is on line 47, we get the get welcome response. This function right here is used for whenever we just call our function name. So when we say Alexa, hello world, we want it to return hello, please ask me to say hello. We do, this blueprint already has it doing something. We're going to delete two things from this. We're going to delete the current speech output text right here and change it to hello, ask me to say hello. And then if for some reason Alexa does not understand our response to this output, like let's just say we mumbled something or she just couldn't reach the web services or whatever, she'll re-prompt us with this text. So essentially this is like her repeating herself. So I'm going to, just so that we know that she's repeating herself, make the text a little different by adding again, hello, ask me to say hello. Pretty simple, but it differentiates between the original prompt and the reprompt text. This is all you need to change in this function right here. So let's go ahead and scroll down. I'll show you the next thing that we can change. So on line 70, create favorite color attributes. This function isn't needed for our hello world. Let's go ahead and get rid of it. And then if you go to line 97, get color from session, I'm not going to use this function either. We just are going to go ahead and delete it from 121 to 97. and I'm going to make it nice and clean. Okay, we will be changing this function here. I'm going to go ahead and explain something really quick. The way how Amazon Alexa works whenever she's calling a Lambda function is by an intent request. Now, an intent request is essentially how we tell Alexa what function, what part of our function we want to use. In this video, we're only going to have one intent, hello world. But let's say you had a function where you wanted, like in this case, you wanted to set your favorite color, and then you also wanted a function to get your favorite color, to see what your favorite color was set to. This is essentially where it comes into play, and that's where like your intents will differentiate between what type of request you want to make. So for instance, in this blueprint, if you said, if you initiated the my color is intent, it would run set color in session function. However, if you called the what's my color intent, it will run get color from session. The intent names are set up in the Amazon Alexa developer portal, and that's what we're going to be doing in the next video. So you don't really need to worry about so much what these are called or how they're built just quite yet. It's all going to become clear in the next video. And then what I really like about this blueprint too is that it also adds these Amazon.help intents, and then Amazon.stop, Amazon.cancel. Notice that the help intent gets our welcome response. And that's us basically just like saying Amazon hello world, and then she's like, okay, you need help with this this function, let me show you what you can do. That's where you'll put in like, hey, this is the hello world function, ask me to say hello. And then these are pretty self-explanatory, stop and cancel. So since we only have one intent, I'm going to go ahead and erase this if statement right here. And then I'm going to change the intent name, and this is very important. I'm going to change it to hello world. Make sure that the H and W in hello world is capitalized, because caps do matter whenever you're sending intent names. I'm also going to change the name of the function that is called to hello world. Perfect. All of this was done on line 126 to about 130. So now that we have this intent set up, we're going to say Alexa hello world Alexa ask hello world to introduce us. That's going to call this function right here, which we're going to define on line 73. Again, we're going to repurpose this and call this function hello world. And then we're going to change some of the code in here to match what we want. We do not have any parameters. Another thing about Alexa and intents is that you can have parameters. So obviously in this blueprint, whenever you're setting your favorite color, you can set it to like red or blue or whatever. We're not messing with any of those special variables like a color name or anything like that. We just straight up want her to say hello. This is something that we'll do later, but not right now. So go ahead and delete line 75, favorite color slot. The rest of this doesn't matter except for should in session. We're going to change this to true. What this variable does is basically choose whether or not Alexa should keep listening or actively listening on your function. Once this function is ran, once hello world's function is ran, she will say hello world, and then we want our function to end. If you wanted if you wanted more functionality, if you wanted her to wait and hear for another command, you would set this to false. We do not need an else statement in this function, so I'm going to go ahead and delete 86 to 90. And then we don't need an if statement either, because anytime that this code is ran, we just straight up want her to say hello world. Again, our favorite color value doesn't matter, and this session attributes doesn't matter, so go ahead and delete those two. We will not be reprompted for this, she's just going to say hello world and then end the function call, so there's no chance for her to even be reprompted. As soon as she says hello world, the function's going to end. So delete that. Then here's the cool part. We're going to change the speech output variable to say hello world. That's the big aha moment, I guess. So yeah, so whenever we set up our Amazon Alexa developer skill, and we say ask us to introduce us, she is going to get the speech output hello world and say it out loud. Okay, so the function is now complete. What we can do now is upload this code to AWS. Very simple. Let's go ahead and pull up our Firefox browser. I'm going to close this. I'm going to hit blank function. That way it's just easier to upload the code, even though technically we're using a blueprint. But go ahead and click blank function. Here we're going to configure a trigger. A trigger is essentially how this function is going to be called. We're going to use Alexa Skills Kit. And then hit next. I'm going to call my function YouTube Hello World, simply because I have a few Hello Worlds already built. So feel free to name that however you want. It does not matter for Amazon or anything. And then it looks like I already have some code in here. I'm going to go ahead and remove all of this. And then I'm going to open up my Sublime Text and then hit Control A, Control C, minimize it, come back, and hit Control V. I essentially copied all of the code from my Sublime Text editor and pasted it into the Lambda function code. Notice that this is edit code inline. We could have uploaded it from a zip file or an S3 bucket, but since our function is just one file, I didn't see a need to do that quite yet. I can show you guys exactly how to do that in the next video, or not next video, next series. But upload via zip is very helpful for whenever you have like node modules and whatnot, other dependencies that need to be installed. Okay, so down here, the only thing we need to be worried about is our Lambda function handler and role. I have an existing role. What you can do is you can hit create a custom role, and then this should be pretty much defaulted for you, and then just hit allow. I'm going to hit actually I'm just going to close this tab because I already have the function built for me, or I mean the IAM role built for me, but you don't, so go ahead and hit allow. Once that's done, you should have like choose an existing role, Lambda basic execution. All of this should be set up. I don't have to change anything. Click next. All of this is just a basic like outline of what we've done, and then let's create our function. Boom! You now have your first AWS Lambda function. In the next video, we are going to be calling it through Amazon's developer portal with an Alexa skill, and I'm going to show you just how easy it is to get Alexa up and running. If you have any problems with the code or the way how I kind of described it, because I know I went a little fast, I didn't go line by line, and I didn't build it with you guys. I'm going to post this code somewhere. I'm not exactly sure. Check the comments below for a link to the code, but it will be there probably in a Google Docs on my account. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll tune in next time when we do some of the really fun stuff, bring it all together. And yeah, have a good one. Again, this has been Zayne in a Technology Today, Future Tomorrow video.